Hi cuties! Welcome back to Today's Scout Learns. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to be taking a look at perks from a scout's perspective. Which are the most useful perks, which are not so useful for a scout. Which perks do I personally take? I'm trying to avoid the word best perks here because that's very subjective and very personal. It depends on so many things: your personal playstyle, your weapons and mods, the biome, the mission type, the modifiers. So of course I'll give you the info, I'll give you my favourite picks, and it's up to you to play around and pick and choose as you see fit to suit you. So with that said, I'll catch you over at the equipment terminal. A zippity! Boop! Hi! Okay, so how about we dive right in and take a look at the perks. Let's start with the passive ones. Deep pockets. There's two sides to this. You're a scout, so you're the quickest, most mobile class. You can get to that mineral vein and down to Molly and back to the mineral vein and down to Volley very quickly, much faster than the other classes. The other side is, well, you can hold more minerals. That's less trips for you to make. You can get the minerals. You can hoard the minerals faster that way. Personally, I don't take deep pockets. I feel like I don't really need it. I don't take the mod on my armor either, and it only takes 2 trips to get enough nitra for a supply without it. So personally, I don't take it. You can grapple to the mineral, grapple down and grapple back up very quickly, very easily. But if that's a bit arduous or tedious for you, then of course deep pockets, nah. It comes in handy, but not really essential for a scout, I don't believe. Veteran Depositor. You can deposit valuables into the mule 50% faster than without it, and you get a 30% damage reduction while within 7 meters of the mule or other deposit points. Now you think, hang on, I'm scout, how often am I within 7 meters of the mule? Think salvage mission. Think fuel cells, think the black box. How far away are you from the drop pod? In most of my missions, I'm usually within 7 meters of the drop pods, and the perk says right there, within 7 meters of other deposit points. So this is one I actually take on salvage for that 30% damage reduction. Very handy perk, one of my favourites, but only for salvage. Sweet Tooth, a scout's best friend. You get 30% more healing from red sugar and a 20% movement speed bonus for 10 seconds after consuming red sugar. Think about when you're in a fight, you're in a big swarm. You can chip away at the red sugar, get back on your feet. A lot of lower class players, a lot of newer players, they will use the resupply as a health station. The resupply is not a health station. Red sugar is your health station. Of course, if there's no red sugar around and you're absolutely desperate, then use the supply. But if you're seeing red sugar around, it should be the red sugar you're going for health. And if you're feeling like the health you're getting from it isn't really enough, Sweet Tooth is an excellent perk to take on most of your missions. I take it on most of my missions. It saves the resupplies for that essential ammo, helps you stay alive, helps you stay in the fight. If you're a scout, remember to be courteous of your teammates too. Red sugar that's high up on the ceiling or high up on a wall, just grapple up there, give it a power attack. The red sugar will fall onto the floor and it's there for your teammates if they need it. If you don't have anything to mitigate your fall and it's a little too high up, just give underneath the red sugar a little ping, and usually the NG is polite enough to put a platform there for you. So Sweet Tooth, keep this one in mind. definitely want to take if you think the mission ahead is going to be a tough one and you're going to need some healing. Resupplier. You stock up on ammo and health 50% faster at the resupply pod. You gain an extra 25% health when you resupply. And after resupplying, all weapons instantly reload. I've forgotten to turn Discord off again. I'm so sorry about that. I always do that. Quit Discord. Sorry about that. That won't happen again. Now you'll notice something in this video in the coming minutes. When I show you a few of my different perk combinations, that there's always one constant. Resupplier. I basically never take this off. For me, this is an essential passive perk. That 50% faster, not for the health so much, but for the 50% faster resupplying for the ammo. And it has 5 swarm, especially if teammates are down and things are getting a bit hectic and you have to resupply very quickly to get yourself back into the fight if you're low or out of ammo. This is one perk that has all positives and no negatives, at least for me. Unstoppable. Nothing holds you back. Environmental slowdown effects are reduced by 50%. And you move 25% faster while carrying heavy objects. Heavy objects, think aquarks, eggs. This is one I actually take sometimes, not often, but say sand-blasted corridors. I will take Unstoppable. If I don't need any of the other passive perks, I'll take Unstoppable. For the sandstorms, you know, my grapple has a cooldown. Sometimes it's on cooldown, sometimes I have to run. This is quite a handy perk sometimes. I'll also take it for Glacial Strata. Now why Glacial Strata? Think of a bug there, a flying bug of sorts, that likes to sting you. And when you're stung, what happens to you? It slows you down, right? Unstoppable works against jellyfish. It won't do anything for the damage, but it does stop the jellyfish from slowing you down. The jellyfish stings because it's a kind of an AoE attack. It counts as an environmental slowdown. So Unstoppable will stop you getting trapped in that school flock of jellyfish. If your grapple's on a cooldown, you can still run. So this is one I take in those kind of circumstances, sandblasted corridors, anything where an environment will slow you down. I do take this one sometimes. It's not up there as an important perk. It's a very nuanced one, but it is one I'll take from time to time. So give that a try in Glacial Strata if you're having trouble with the jellyfish slowing you down, for example. Vampire, one of my favourite solo perks. I will take this on solo. Why only solo? I'll come to that later. I'll explain that in a bit. With Vampire, you regain 5 health when you kill a medium-sized or larger creature with a melee attack. So anything from a grunt upwards, you kill them with a melee attack, you'll get 5 health. This is a great mod to take, pairing it with the Shockwave mod on your pickaxe, because with the shockwave mod you've got a wider power attack area. Power attack affects a larger area. It adds a meter radius on your power attack. So 5 health doesn't sound much, but if you've got several bugs all within approximately a 2 meter radius, you'll get 5 health from each of them. There's an active perk called Berserker, where you can keep power attacking while your power attack is on charge. For example, that would be a good pairing. And of course there's always Slayer Stout, the beer that gives you a quicker power attack cooldown. So I love Vampire in solo, and the reason I don't really take it in multiplayer much is because I don't really pair it with a complementing active perk. and I'll change my pickaxe modification too, depending on modifiers and mission type. So I'll take it very rarely in multiplayer if I don't need one of my usual active perks, but it's not often. But in solo, definitely I take this a lot, especially if I'm going cryo bolts or cryo grenade. So if you're finding yourself in situations where you've got bugs bunched together quite a lot and you've got the means to power attack often, Vampire is a great choice to take to keep you in the fight. Strong Arm. You throw flares with 50% more force than the average dwarf. Whoosh! Gems and other heavy objects get a 20% bonus throwing force. This one, I never take this. I've never really been in a situation where I need it. I don't think this is a very useful perk. I mean, why do I need to throw flares with 50% more force? I have a flare gun. And heavy objects, again, I've never really been in a situation where I need it. Maybe very rare occasions where I can't throw an aquark or something over a cliff. But in multiplayer, you know, you've always got a driller to drill your tunnel, you've always got NG to give you a platform, you've always got a gunner to give us a zip line. I don't really need to throw heavy objects far. You know, I can hold right click and do the, if I'm host, I can do the little flick trick. If I'm not host, well, I can still just throw it, grapple to it, throw it, grapple to it. So I can move very fast with heavy objects. So this is one for a scout. You don't need this, in my opinion. Friendly. Through the power of friendship, you both take and deal 50% less damage from friendly fire. This is not one I take often, even though it's a very good perk. Playing in Has 5, you're mostly playing with competent players. Despite the DRG chat memes, there's really not much friendly fire going on. At lower levels, especially if you're playing with newer players, and especially if you're playing with players who are new to a new powerful overclock, this can be helpful. Especially with Driller's new grenade. Jesus, oh my god. And it does stack, so if two teammates both have friendly, then you're basically not getting any friendly fire. You take 100% less damage from each other. So if you're finding yourself accidentally shooting teammates a lot, or you're getting accidentally shot by teammates a lot, this is one to think about. Or just get better teammates. Elemental Insulation. Get 30% resistance to all elemental damage. Think radioactive zone, you know, the lime sticks. And think magma core, the lava, the hot rocks. Those two situations are pretty much the only time I take this. I do take this for magma core and radioactive exclusion zone. It does help a lot, especially with those lime sticks. They barely hurt you once you've got elemental insulation. Second wind. You don't need it. You're not really sprinting that often for 4 seconds. 4 seconds or more. You don't need it as scout. You've got the grapple. You've got momentum on your grappling hook. You've got hot feet on the drac. And this one, completely useless perk for scout. I was born ready! Unequipped weapons automatically reload after 5 seconds. This is a very handy perk to take if you have special powder on your boomstick. Think fossil on the ceiling, so you use special powder to get up there. Well, now what? How are you going to break your fall? Huh? Well, you just stay grappled for 3 or 4 seconds. Then let go of the grapple, grab the fossil, and by the time you're near the ground, you'll hear, I was born ready. Okay? So you can use special powder again to land your fall. That's really the only situation I'll take born ready. It is a handy perk to take if you're swapping weapons a lot. It saves you reloading. but I find I don't really need it except for that one situation. If you're using special powder, definitely take Born Ready and give that a try. You'll no longer get into those situations where you fall to your death in midair reloading, quickly trying to reload your boomstick. It's a bug thing. You should never take this perk. Thorns. Anytime an enemy damages you with a melee attack, it will itself take 24 damage. I do take this perk now and again. It doesn't really do anything on higher levels, at least not against the big bugs. But it does one-shot jellyfish and swarmers. It just saves you from dealing with the annoying little bugs, taking your concentration away mid-fight. Do keep in mind though, it has a 0.75 second cooldown, so don't rely on it too much, but it is very handy for swarmers, jellyfish and shredders on caretaker missions, for example. But for big bugs, generally you don't want to be that close enough for big bugs for them to be hitting you with melee attacks anyway. But definitely keep this one in mind for Glacial Strata, the jellyfish, and keep it in mind for Swarmageddon. Other than that, you don't really need it, especially if you've got the Drac with splash damage. That's your Swarmer problem dealt with. Okay, so what about active perks? Berserker. As mentioned earlier, this is a brilliant one to pair with Vampire. Go Berserk for 10 seconds, during which you get boosted melee damage and a lightning fast pickaxe power attack recharge. You activate it by pressing your left mouse button and right mouse button at the same time while your power attack is charging. If you've just had to Iron Will yourself, or you're in mid-fight and you're really low in health and you're seeing no red sugar around, use your power attack, get that little bit of health from Vampire, then hit those two buttons and power attack some more. Get that health up. This is a good one to take depending on your playstyle. I play a very medic scout style playstyle. I'm there to support my team and keep my team on their feet. So I take a couple of other active perks most time in multiplayer. But in solo, this is one I take a lot. And here's one of my most used perks, Field Medic. Leave no dwarf behind. You revive teammates 30% faster. That goes without saying why that's a good thing. Upon reviving someone, nearby enemies flee. They get feared. And once per mission, you can get a downed teammate instantly back on their feet. I take this pretty much in every single multiplayer mission ever. I will always take this. Rare exceptions if I'm playing with my boyfriend and I know the mission's going to be easy. If I know my boyfriend's never going to go down, then I won't take this, because what's the point? But if I'm playing with randoms or new people or some of my other friends who are more casual players so they don't know life the game like me, I'll take this just to help them, just to keep them on their feet. And this comes in handy especially during extraction. Let's talk about the active part of this. Once per mission, you can get a downed teammate instantly back on their feet. You can only use it once. I see so many people just using it during a swarm, or using it willy-nilly anytime. I will only ever use this during extraction. If a teammate is downed, heading to the drop pod, I can grapple to them, instantly revive them. The enemies flee. I'll drop some pheromones or throw my boomerang, or something. This perk is a lifeline for your teammates. It's my favourite multiplayer perk, but again, that's for my playstyle. I play Medic Scout. With your mobility and your grapple, you can get in and out quickly. You can really save your team. So if that's something you like, think about taking this on multiplayer missions. You can get your team up faster, and you can get them to the drop pod alive. Iron Will. Never give up. Once per mission, get back into the fight with all your weapons reloaded and a rage-fueled strength for a 12-second last stand before going down for good. While in this state, you move faster, hit harder, and are resistant to slowdowns. Make it count. This is the Hail Mary perk of every Hazmat 5 mission that goes terribly, terribly wrong. Everything's going wrong. Your entire team's going down. Iron Will can really, really bring it back. I find Iron Will really useful on Gunner, because a Gunner can Iron Will and drop his shield around a supply, or drop a shield around a teammate and get another teammate up. But I find it equally as good on Scout. This is my other most used active perk on multiplayer missions. Again, if I'm playing with randoms or other people. If I'm playing with my boyfriend, again, I don't take it as often because I trust him to stay up and in the fight. And usually if both me and my boyfriend have gone down, then usually that means things have gone so terribly wrong. We're not going to pull the mission back no matter what. Anyway, that mission was meant to end that way. But with randoms, I'll take Iron Will, especially if you pair it with other stuff that we've talked about here. Iron Will, especially if you have immunity on your armor. Well, you can go for that red sugar on the ceiling. Just grapple at the ceiling, power attack it. You're not going to take any fall damage. You won't take fall damage. So go up, power attack the red sugar. There you go. You're back in the fight. Go save your teammates. Or you've got Vampire. Power attack the bugs. You've got Berserker. Well, your power attack's on charge now, so press those buttons. Get your health up. Get back in the fight. If you can't do either of those things, well, Iron Will, grapple to the resupply. You're the one who can make it. Or, if there's no resupply and you haven't got the Niger for it, grapple to your teammate. You're immune. You're not going to take damage for a few seconds. So get to your teammate and revive them. If they're close by, you can usually revive about 2. Especially if you've got field medic, you can go revive 2 of them. You'll go down, but hopefully they'll be able to revive you after, right? So Iron Will is one I take a lot on multiplayer missions. Heightened sensors. You get an early warning sign when a creature is about to grab you.
Leech!
2 times per mission you can escape after being grabbed, killing your captor in the process. The only time I take this is for Clave Leech Cluster. I find anything other than Clave Leech Cluster, you don't really need it. Normal missions, well, you should be firing a flare up at the ceiling before entering a new cave anyway. Just give it a quick scan. Sand blasted corridors, you've got the sand shark. Just keep an eye out for its movement. You can see it moving in the sand. If it's coming towards you, grapple away. Grabber, you can hear it coming. Just listen to where it's coming from and shoot it before it gets to you. So, no, this one I don't find very useful, except for Cave Leech Cluster, because obviously there's a lot of cave leeches in that one, and sometimes during swarms you don't always have time to instantly look up, especially with the horizontal cave leeches. So I will take it just for Cave Leech Cluster, but other than that you don't need it. Just keep your scout sensors, fire a flare up at the ceiling, look up, listen for the grabber, look for the disturbance in the sand for the sand shark. Shield Link. Passive. Whenever you are within 4 meters of a teammate, both of your shields recharge 50% faster. Active. You can overcharge a teammate's shield to 300% for 30 seconds. I take this one only for salvage, because in salvage you're inside the green circle for the uplink, and you're also inside the green circle for the fuel cells, so you're always within 4 meters of your teammates. And I'll take it especially if I've got a green beard with me, because sometimes I run Has-4 lobbies, or even sometimes I meet a complete mad green beard who wants to go on their first Has-5 or something like that, so I'll take this just so I can boost their shield. Definitely give this one a try. for salvage operation, especially if you've got SBB for your Drac, shield battery booster. This is a good one to take, especially with the sooner charging on your armor. But other than that, other than salvage and maybe escort, I do take it on escort sometimes. You're not really within 4 meters of a teammate as a scout, so I wouldn't take it outside of those two. Dash! Another one of my favourite solo perks. As I said, in multiplayer I'm usually running field medic, and I am well. In solo I've got a lot more freedom, as I don't have anybody else to look after. Get out of trouble with a short burst of speed. While dashing, you ignore all slowdown effects. 25-second cooldown. This is a great one to take in eliminations. You know, you can dash behind the dreads. It's great to take in fungus bogs, you know, the green goo. It's great to take in magma core, sandblasted corridors. It's great to take in glacial strata for all the reasons mentioned, for why I take unstoppable sometimes. So in solo I'll take dash, in multiplayer I'll take unstoppable. But you give these a try yourself. A lot of people will tell you scout, oh, you shouldn't take dash because scout doesn't need it. Give it a try yourself and you'll fall in love with it, I promise you. Beastmaster. Charm a glyphed grunt to become your loyal companion. You can only have one tamed grunt at a time. 5-minute cooldown. Tamed grunts deal 300% more damage to their targets. This is a great one to take for solo. In multiplayer, you don't really need it. But in solo, and you need another buddy along, because Bosco is useless, take this, charm a grunt guard or a grunt slasher, and you've got yourself a tough little friend there. Don't waste it on the normal grunts. The normal grunts, they just don't have enough health, and as it says there, 5-minute cooldown. That's a long time in a mission. My recommendation is use a grunt guard. I have a video of that. Today Scout learns Griffith grunt guard. Use this on the guards. It's a good one for solo. See you in hell. Right after an enemy hits you with a melee attack, you get a temporary melee bonus. 3 times each mission, you can trigger a large neuropulse explosion after you go down. A residual neuroelectric field will electrocute and scare off enemies. As scout, you don't need this. We already have Iron Will, which is a Hail Mary perk. We already have Berserker. And being as mobile and quick as we can, we don't really want to be planning to go down. You shouldn't be planning to go down. Scout should be the last one up. Scout should be the last one who goes down. So instead of planning for when you're down, plan to stay up. An exception is Iron Will, because sometimes things do go terribly wrong. But you shouldn't really be planning to go down 3 times each mission. See you in hell. I always appreciate it when other teammates take see you in hell though, when they're down and they can do the neuropulse explosion. That allows me to get to them a lot quicker and safer and get them up a lot faster. But on scout, no. Hover boots. Fancy boots let you hover in midair for 35 seconds. This is a good one. It frees up your NG to concentrate on other things. You can go get a mineral or that fossil or that yeast cone or whatever that's high up without bugging your engineer for a platform. If you don't have any other way to mitigate your fall, and by the time the hover boots wears off, you can grapple safely back down to the ground. This is a good one to take if you're struggling with fall damage, but with practice and experience you don't really take fall damage that much. You sort of get a feel. For example, minerals high up, you can do the power attack method, which helps a lot if you have Rocky Mountain, by the way. Nitro veins, you can stand on top of them and then just pickaxe yourself a little ledge. But if you're still picking those kind of things up, or still figuring out how to get around the caves without taking fall damage, then hover boots is a great one to take. And you can do some really fun stuff with it if you pair it with, say, dash. And you can do some really cool stuff with it, grappling in midair while hover booting. It doesn't really fit my playstyle, but I've seen other scouts that are really good with hover boots. You can do some really cool stuff with it. But personally, I never take it because I don't need it. So let's take a look at some of my loadouts and the perks I take. These are just general examples. I'll switch them out depending on different situations, biomes, modifiers, and the such likes, as I've said. But here's what a typical mining mission, or eggs, or aquarks multiplayer mission looks like. My solo and my multiplayer loadouts look very different, but here's the typical multiplayer one for mining or eggs. Red sugar to keep my health topped up. Resupplier so I can quickly top up my ammo. Born ready because, as you see there, I'm using special powder. Iron will for when SHTF for when SHTF and the entire team is down and I make mistakes, I go down. I've got iron will there to get my team back on their feet, and field medic there so I can get my team up faster and I can get them all to the drop pod alive, or at least one of them I can instantly get back on their feet and get them to the pod alive. And here's typically something I'd take on radioactive exclusion zone or magma core. I'll take elemental insulation there. Glacial strata, you see there I'm using thorns for the jellyfish because it one-shots the jellyfish even on has 5, and unstoppable, so when I'm getting stung I'm not slowed down. And here's an example of something I'd take on radioactive exclusion zone as well, especially during Swarmageddon. You see there I've got elemental for the lime sticks and thorns there for the swarmers. Here's something I'd take for salvage. I've got veteran depositor there because in salvage, you know, you're within 7 meters of the drop pod, which counts as a deposit, so I'm taking 30% less damage. And because I'm taking 30% less damage, I've gone with thorns instead of red sugar. So I generally don't need red sugar that much on salvage operations, but thorns does help against swarmers and again jellyfish. And shield link there as well. So that's it. That's all it's about really. It's just thinking about the biome you're going in, the mission modifiers, and are you going it solo? Are you going with a team? Are you the strongest in that team? Are you the weakest? Or the less experienced? I don't like the term weakest. Nobody's weak. It's all about experience, and sometimes RNG is just against you, right? But it's good to think about things like that. Think about the type of enemies you're going to encounter, the kind of environment you're going to encounter. Are you going into magma core with the hot rocks? Is the modifier Swarmageddon? So what perks should you take? Think about that and build your perks around it. Well, I think that's it for today. I hope it's been of some help. Put in the comments if you have any questions. Share your favourite perks. I love to hear them. You can tell me I'm right, you can tell me I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, I'm always willing to listen and always willing to learn myself, because that's what it's all about. Growth. Okay, I'll see you in the next Today Scout Learns, which will be going back to the bestiary, the hive guard, and after that I'll do one for weapons and weapon mod loadouts. Okay, I'll see you in the caves of Hoxus. Good luck and bye bye! Zippity!